Welcome back to the Shane and Shelby Show.
I'm Shane, and this beautiful blonde goddess beside me is my wife, Shelby. How we doing today?
We're blonde.
We are.
So, if you guys listened to the last podcast, Shane said it was time. Full on mental breakdown over here. Quit my job and went blonde.
I know my wife.
Yeah, so I'm blonde. We've been to Florida and back. We have pissed off the internet. You know, good times.
We keep getting advice on like how to not piss people off. And we're not listening.
No,
Like that's not our purpose here.
no, we're not here to make everyone happy. And I think so many people didn't realize who I actually was as a person from following my fashion page because I was put together most of the time. Like I definitely had my moments and in stories you could see like me having mental breakdowns sometimes. But for just generally looking at my page, looking at my reels or whatever, you would think that I was like, oh, she's pretty chill. She's not trying to offend anyone. That's really not who I am as a person, and people just didn't know.
Yeah.
And so some people are loving that I'm speaking my mind and they're actually getting to see my personality, and some people are pissed because 'cause they're like, "Oh my god, I didn't like you," apparently. And, well, that's fine. Like, no one's making you be here, and I quit influencing, so
Mhm.
if that page drops, I don't really care.
Yeah, we're having a lot of peace right now, a lot of clarity. Finally, just being us.
Yeah, there's so much when I feel like an influencer, especially trying to impress brands, you can't say certain things or do certain things, and you've got to kind of be in this little box. Well, I am done with the box. Broke out of the box. And this is so much more fun. And honestly, I think a lot of people are confused thinking that this is legit a job.
Mhm.
We're here to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, no one's paying us to talk in these mics. We paid for the mics.
I keep asking people to holler at your boy. Nobody has hollered at your boy.
Yeah, we're just doing this for funsies, guys. We enjoy this, whether you do or not.
Yeah. We got the equipment and I just cleaned up the hard drive on the computer. We got a lot of space. We have no restraints right now. We're gonna keep pumping these bad boys out.
Yeah, let's go. Also, got my Alani back. We traveled to Florida and this whole episode's going to be our Florida trip craziness because when we travel, it's never just normal. We always have something going on. So, um when we were in Florida, I couldn't find any Alanis.
No, we
And
found the crappy ones.
the crappy ones. Okay, so those don't count.
Yeah.
But I got my sherbet swirl
Or coffee.
or coffee. Those Florida people, what are y'all doing? Why don't you drink coffee?
We could not find coffee places anywhere.
It took us an entire day of driving around to find a coffee shop.
My hypothesis is that no one wakes up early there. Like, I guess if you're retired, you're just like making coffee at your house, or you just don't wake up before like 10 o'clock.
I mean, yeah. Or people just are only there on vacation and they're just drinking vodka Red Bulls.
Yeah.
That's all Shane wanted. I don't think you ever got it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Shane was just craving something about being at the beach.
Hmm.
Shane's craving a vodka Red Bull, which, throwback to Panama days. Um, so I guess we should probably tell you where we went because we've been kind of teasing that. We told you guys that we were going to Florida, but we went to Sarasota, Florida to look at moving there. So I guess by the end of this podcast, we'll actually tell them if we're moving or not.
They might figure it out earlier than
They
that,
might.
but
Yeah, so that's what we went there for. Um, and so we left last week. I colored my hair blonde on Thursday.
Mm.
We left on Friday. And I didn't even, so what's crazy is I went into my hair appointment and I was like, hey, these brassy pieces, we've either got to lighten them or I'm going full dark. And somehow I ended up blonde. So it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. But perfect timing for Florida. So Friday afternoon, we were stupid and booked a late flight. I hate late flights.
yeah, let's disclaimer on the whole trip as we were trying to make this a cheap trip and not spend a ton of money as we like go check out this place that we've never seen before and have no idea if we're going to like it or not. So let's not spend like a ton of money on this one. So that's how we went into it and booked everything, all non-refundable, all on the cheaper side. And I think that was our first mistake.
Yeah, I think you can't go into traveling cheap. I think we started off bad there.
Yeah.
And it was, like, just the late flight alone, we were supposed to get into Tampa at 11,
Mhm.
right?
It was supposed to be 11, yeah.
Yeah, so that's when we were supposed to get there. We get to the airport, we're flying American. First of all, we're flying out of Dallas. I don't like going to the Dallas airport. You gotta park, you gotta walk, it's a big airport. Nice, but big. And so we get to the airport reasonably early there. It was going so well, guys.
Mm,
I did do only a carry-on. Backfired. I would say that it backfired. But I did only a carry-on. Everything made it in there. And so we were like, heck yes, we don't have to drop off our bags. This is going so easy. We go through TSA. We have pre-check. You should always have pre-check. Actually, don't get it so that the line's shorter for us. Um, but everything's going so well. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we've got this. We typically like to fly a different airline. And so instead, we're here like flying, American.
slumming
No.
it.
So we get there and we eat at TGI Fridays. I love that place. It was right beside the gate and I was so excited. I was like, "Yes, everything's going right. Like this is." And I was going to Sarasota just for the vibes. Like I'm a big vibes person, so I was like, I've got to feel the vibes on if I actually like the area, like if I want to live there enough. And if I get a good vibe, then okay, we'll like full send. If I don't, then we shut it all down. So the vibes were strong,
Yeah.
right?
2 hours in, they were good.
They were great. And I was having my, what do I get there? That whiskey sauce. I love that whiskey. I don't like whiskey, but that whiskey sauce, I love it. And so that's the only time we eat TGI Fridays is at the airport. And so I was excited. And then while we're sitting there, Shane gets a message from Turo. And tell him what Turo had to say.
Well, my Turo host said he got sick and that he's not gonna have the car available.
He said he got sick. You said he didn't say anything.
Well, he eventually said he got sick.
Oh,
Yeah. So we're, less than an hour from getting on our plane, realizing that we're gonna get there at 11 o'clock, an hour away from our hotel with no car.
yeah. Mad
So
panic.
yeah.
But so this is a marital difference, marital debate here. So what I do is I go into panic mode and I just want to like chew someone out and get my way. That's how I look at things. I'm like, "Oh my god, no, you better call Turo and they're gonna get us a new car and da 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 da." And I'm just like over here and Shane's like, "I'm just gonna book a new car." I was like, "Wait, what? Like, you're not even gonna complain? Like, this is you complain about this." And we looked at the Turo policy, and Turo, we've used them a lot. We've recommended them on here. But Turo apparently has this policy where the host can cancel same day, anytime. Anytime, same day. And all they have to do is pay $50 to Turo. Like, come on now. $50 just because? And then you've
Mm.
completely screwed the guest out of having a car, and then all of the cars, because it's the same day a couple hours away, cost a fortune.
Mhm.
And Shane was so excited about this car.
Yeah. I was looking forward to it because if you listened to one of the last podcasts, we had a convertible BMW that was gonna be so adorable going down the beach, and we only had carry-on luggage, so we didn't need the space that we normally like. Normally, we get a SUV or a big car, and this was our one chance without the kids, without luggage, to get something fun and cutesy and drop top down the beach, and, well, that failed.
That failed. So I did share about that on my story. Some people came for me going, "You can't blame Turo for that. That's on the host. Like, Turo, do better with your policies." No, I can blame them. So Shane did not call and complain. Should have. Should have.
Haven't yet, we're gonna.
Okay. It might be a little late now, But he did book us a new car. We got a blue Range Rover, and some people came for me and said, "Well, you could have got a cheaper car. You probably tried to get a similar car." We tried to get a nice car because that's the entire reason we do Turo. We don't do Turo for convenience, really. We do it to have a fun car.
Mhm,
Like if I wanted a Honda Civic, I could use one of those rental car services. We wanted a BMW convertible or a Range Rover or whatever. Like we budget that
mhm.
to have a fun car because what's a road trip without a fun car?
I am a car guy, and so the highlight of all of our trips, no matter where we go, is that I get to drive a fun car, and that's honestly the only reason I go.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we've had Porsches and super cool like Land Rovers and Range Rovers and stuff, and
G-Wagons?
it makes the trip so much better, and it's worth the money as long as it shows up.
Right. So, we did end up getting, a Turo. He was able to find one.
Mhm,
But then right after he books this Turo and we get up from the restaurant and go walk to our gate, the gate is no longer our gate and they've moved us, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, your flight's delayed an hour." And we were already getting in late. So then that made it way worse. And we were like, oh, lovely. The plane wasn't even showing up. We were like 10 minutes to boarding and didn't even have a plane. And Shane's like, I don't know that we're making it. Somehow we made it. We did not fly first class. I feel like if you're flying normal airlines, first class is like the only way to fly. I know that's a controversial opinion because some people are like, why would I spend all my money on the flight? You can just sit wherever and get where you're going, unless it's like a super long flight. This was like a 3-hour flight. And I think that if you start off your trip bad, shoved next to a window and can't get up to pee for 3 hours, then, the whole trip kinda goes downhill.
mhm,
So I do think it was worth it, and we should have splurged, and we didn't because 'cause we're trying to be frugal, and that's never worked for me.
mhm,
I really feel like I would rather just save up and splurge one time than end up back there shoved against a window.
mhm.
But anyway,
Yeah, we should have done that differently.
yeah,
Also, strap your damn kid to their seat. 'Cause there was this one kid on the other side that was being crazy, like, literally the entire flight, takeoff, landing, was never in his seat.
I felt bad for that mom. I think parenting plays a role, but that was late. I don't think she
Yeah.
expected because that flight was delayed an hour, she did not expect for her kid to be up that late, and he didn't want to be. He reached that next level, that overtired toddler level
Mm.
where they go feral. He reached that, and I felt so bad because it was the mom by herself with this probably 3-year-old boy. 3-year-old boys are hard
Mhm,
in general. And then this poor guy who clearly did not have children and was flying by himself was sitting next to them. And God love him because I'm sure he got kicked and hit
mm,
and had to listen to that child scream the entire flight. And he was, like, offering him whatever snacks that the airline
mhm.
were giving out. He was like,
Money,
"Here, take it.
whatever.
Whatever you want, just please chill out." So I felt bad for the mom because I'm sure she was freaking out, but at the same time, she was, like, laughing.
Yeah,
I would not have been laughing. I would have been, like, hyperventilating, like, "Child, sit
yeah.
down."
No, that kid was playing drums, like, on the seat in front of him, and that was wild.
Oh. Yeah.
I guarantee the guy that was beside them is flying first class next time.
Oh, yeah, he'll never do that again. Never, never. That was rough. So yeah, the flight wasn't great. We get in though, and I'm still thinking it might be okay, right? Like we made it on the flight. The flight's making it to Florida. We're okay. We had our checked bags or our carry-on bags so we didn't have to go through baggage claim. So I'm like, "Yes, we're going to get out. We're going to go find our car and we're going to make it to Sarasota quickly, even though we're an hour behind." So we land at what, midnight?
Mhm.
Yeah. And we walk through the airport to what was it, long-term parking, thinking that's where we were supposed to go.
Yeah, we didn't get much details from the host
No.
on where this car was, and Tampa Airport is weird.
That is a weird airport.
That is a weird airport. Nothing seemingly is connected to one another other than with those trains, and none of it made sense in our head. And so we end up in purple parking, which is where it said. And they said it was level one, section one, I think. And we're walking around purple for a good 30 minutes, and we never get to section one, and it doesn't go to section one.
We took random elevators that went to, like, a police department in in the ground level. They have moving sidewalks in the parking garages because the parking garages are that big, like, multiples of them, and so we just take all these moving sidewalks. We're walking around. My Aura Ring picked up that I was doing cardio for a solid hour because when we found out it wasn't in that parking lot, we had to catch a train to another one and walk through that entire thing. And then with Turo, you got to take all the pictures of the car before you load it and get it unlocked and all this kind of stuff. We didn't get to the hotel until
After one.
after 1. So maybe our flight did land at 11. I think it was supposed to land at 10.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
I
a
think it
lot.
was supposed to land at 10, landed at 11. We finally found the car at 12, drove an hour. And because this one, because we were so freaking tired and we had walked for an hour to find this blue Range Rover, finally find it. We get in the car and we go to take off. And all of these cars are different. We drive a lot of different cars, but they all have different things. Shane was trying to connect Apple CarPlay, couldn't connect it. So we're driving, and Shane looks in it first, though, and is like, this thing's out of gas. And our last Turo that we got in San Francisco was legit out of gas.
Yeah.
And we had barely any miles. We were driving in pouring down rain over a bridge, just praying to God that we weren't going to get stuck, and finally found a gas station. So Shane gets in this Range Rover and is like, it's out of gas. Are you freaking kidding me? It's midnight. He drives by one sketchy gas station, can't do it. Then we get on this bridge that is forever long. It's like, hey, hope you have gas because you're driving over this massive bridge over water. And so Shane's driving so slow, like an old grandpa at midnight,
Eco mode.
eco mode, on a Friday night at midnight, and we're just, like, driving like this because he's trying not to run out of gas. And then we get to this gas station, one that doesn't look sketchy, and he gets out and he's pumping gas, and he goes to, like, walk he had started it, goes to walk around the car, and it stops, and he was like, "Was that our car?" I was like, "Yeah." So he goes back around and is trying to, like, put more gas in it. He's like, "What's wrong with this thing? This thing is, like, broken." It only took, like, 1 gallon of
It's like
gas.
$6.
It
Yeah.
was $6 and it was, like, turning off, and he couldn't figure out what was going on. It wasn't out of gas.
Mm,
It was fully full of gas.
it
And
was.
this isn't your first time doing this. You did it to the G-Wagon too, right?
I did.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of trauma from that Porsche in San Francisco that was legit out of gas, and I didn't realize it until we were like moving, because you just assume like when you rent these, it's supposed to be on full, you return on full. This one was completely empty. We get in this Range Rover, and I'm looking at it, and it's 1 in the morning, and I'm just like delirious a little bit. And there is a little red section on this gas gauge, but the rest of it was full as well. And it wasn't actually pointing at this red section, and I only see the red section. And so I'm like, oh shit. So we try it. But also, let's talk about the drivability of this Range Rover. So beautiful ride. It's got this blue color. It looks like the beach. Okay. The inside, it was called the Ultimate Edition, which I don't know what that means, but sick. The inside was white, had all the good stuff, good trim, everything. But it was tinted very darkly.
Illegally tinted. Like,
Yeah.
that was not legal tint. On the front windows, Shane
All of them.
couldn't see. Yeah, it was all windows.
Couldn't see shit. We're driving around at midnight trying to find a gas station. I got the windows down. I look like a crackhead. Like, we look like we were up to no good in this sweet ass ride with like the darkest tint imaginable.
Yeah, we legit had to drive everywhere the entire trip with the windows down
Mm.
just to be able to see. It was the worst sightseeing vehicle we could have ever imagined, but they didn't. I don't think they said that on the listing. Hey, this is blackout
Yeah.
tent.
Good weather though, so we could survive. It
Yeah.
was nice.
Yeah, so we finally make it to the hotel around like 1:15, 1:30 in the morning. And we check in. Everything seems fine until we get up to our room. They hand us the key card and they're like, "You're in 903." So we go up to 903 and I open up the windows or whatever and I look outside and Shane had told me that it was supposed to be a marina view. So we're looking out and we're like, "Where is this marina?" All we see is a roundabout. Big buildings and a roundabout in front of our view. And so I was like, "No, I'm so tired. Like, I am not about to unpack all of my crap and go to bed in the wrong room. Like, just call down. Maybe she gave you the wrong room. Like, surely there's a different side to this hotel. Like, call her." And so Shane calls the front desk chick at again 1:15 in the morning and is complaining about our lack of marina view. And what did she tell you?
She said that it's there. Maybe it's just like a weird angle, but it's over there.
Yeah, so all I hear is I didn't hear what she had to say. I hear Shane go, "Okay, I'll check in the morning." And he goes, "I'm going to bed." And I was like, "All right." So we go to bed, terrible sleep, and wake up the next morning. I was like, "I'm gonna go check this marina view. Like it's not gonna be there." And I open it up and there's the marina.
Sweet
It's
ass view.
great view. Yep, it was there. It was just dark. And so Shane complained for no reason. He's like, "This is why I don't call and complain."
No, we look stupid, and she always wants me to call and complain, and I gave in this time, and I look like a jackass.
Oh my god. Yeah, so we decide to wake up early that day. So we had gotten in so late. There's a time change. I don't understand time changes, so I have no clue what
I
amount of
think it affected us.
I think it did. So we wake up early because I'm like, I don't want to waste my entire day here because we were only there 2 full days. And so we decided to go to breakfast. I just wanted to go to breakfast at the hotel, but Shane found us a cute little breakfast place. It was called The Breakfast Company in Sarasota, I guess. I don't really know where I was. But we went there. I immediately was like, I don't know about these vibes because it looked not sketchy, but like not the nicest
Just kinda
area.
in a strip, yeah.
Like a strip mall situation. Delicious food.
That was great. So
Oh,
the intention of the trip was to figure out, like, how it would be as a local.
right.
So we didn't really wanna, like, sightsee and go to museums and stuff like that because we don't do that. Like, that's not our normal day to day. So my intention was, let's go check out a restaurant that we could potentially go to if we lived here. And so we were kinda against the hotel breakfast that first day, trying to find, like, coffee shops and stuff like that we would actually go to. First one was a hit.
Yeah. So we go in and look at that, and I'm like, okay, this is better vibes. And I was trying to start the day over because by that night, we were like, you know what? Even if we love it in Sarasota, we can't live here. We can't live here because we can't fly American into Tampa and then have to drive. We like to fly JSX, and that is a little bit more pricey but so worth it. They have limited places that they fly. So
Mm.
they fly to Destin, they fly to Miami, and that's it in Florida. And then they fly other places around the US too. And so we were kind of both turned off by the idea of Sarasota in general, just for having to fly American. And so that night we were kind of just like in a bad mood. I wake up the next morning, I'm like, I need to just let this go. Maybe there's a different way to get here, and I need to restart. So we have breakfast and breakfast goes great.
Mhm.
And so I'm thinking, all right, we're going to change up the vibes. And then we drive to this neighborhood in Lakewood Ranch, which Lakewood Ranch, if you Google it, so people asked why we were looking at Sarasota to begin with.
Mhm.
And number one, Google said so. Said it was a great place to live, Sarasota. And then I did poll all of my Instagram followers that lived in Florida, and the mass majority of them that had positive things to say said either Sarasota or St. Augustine. So both were at the top of the list, both very different places. So when I was looking at things, Sarasota seemed to be more like kid friendly, had good sports for kids, stuff like that. And so we go to this neighborhood that's apparently like the jump-in neighborhood, like where you wanna be, which it's not really a neighborhood. Lakewood Ranch, I think initially thought was a neighborhood. It's more of a suburb of Sarasota,
Mhm.
and then there's neighborhoods within it. So we tried to do a vlog for you guys. We do have footage, but it's of me just, like, completely drained in the car going, "Okay, we're going to this neighborhood."
It was terrible.
Terrible footage, yeah. So we went to the first neighborhood, and this was the one where, like, Google said it was the best.
Mhm.
Yeah, it had, like, all the community vibes, had, like, the pool, the everything. We're driving around it, and it honestly felt like kind of like a scary movie. I don't really watch scary movies, but kind of like this weird, we're the only ones here
Mm.
bubble type of thing. It was a strange vibe. There weren't people. Like, there were cars at all of these homes, lots of homes, no people, and it was a Saturday.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "I don't really know about this, like, where's the community?" Like, if you look online, that was the community area. So we're like, "Okay, no, we'll not do that." And we go to another one, loved the neighborhood, really great neighborhood, and I was like, "Oh, I can see this, like, I can see us living here." And I really wanted to go to the gas or not the gas stations, the grocery stores
Mhm.
in Florida to, like, get the vibe,
Yeah.
because grocery stores where we are, I don't really love the vibe.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need to know, like, who's there? Who am I gonna be shopping with on a Saturday morning? So we went to Publix. Great vibes.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good way to figure out what you're gonna be around. Like, those are the locals.
Yes.
Thought it was a great idea. Yeah, the vibes were good.
The vibes were good. The people were kind. Everyone waved. When we were in these neighborhoods driving around, people were waving, the one that actually had people. They were waving. Everyone was friendly, nice cars. The Publix, though, didn't have good Alanis. There weren't many Targets. I think in Texas, so in Texas, we have Super Targets. If you haven't been to Texas, we have Super Targets and they're great. But I don't know that Florida has Super Targets or maybe enough Targets. I don't
Not
really know.
enough.
They
Not
have
for us.
a million Publix
Yeah.
though, but just without the Alanis. So then we decided to go look at the schools. I'm really big on the schools, so I was like, "Okay, we like this neighborhood. This neighborhood goes to such and such schools." So we drive to the schools. The middle school and the elementary school looked pretty good.
Mhm.
Nothing wrong with them, and they were rated highly, but the high school, it was not
Yeah.
it didn't even look as nice as our high school that we went to in Cabot, Arkansas.
Yeah.
And definitely not as nice as the ones near us, like, the high schools in North Texas, let me just tell you, it's a whole thing, and so everything was also super spread out, like, how
Yeah.
long did it take us to get from neighborhood to neighborhood or school to you know?
Yeah, they were all like 15 minutes apart.
Yeah, this whole area, it was like everything was nice.
Mhm.
The trees were beautiful, the roads were nice, the neighborhoods were really pretty, but everything was so spread out. Like you couldn't find, a Target or whatever. It just took forever
Yeah.
to get anywhere.
And I think that's what people think Texas is, but not in North Texas where it's like pretty well developed now.
Right.
Everything's really like we're really close to everything.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this in the last podcast that I want to be like, I would like to be on some farmland, but I'm still going to need to be next to all of my restaurants that I like and stuff like that. And this area just didn't seem to have that. And we even went to like one of the cooler places, like the waterside place where it's supposed to be like community vibes. And it still, which there were, again, I think I would have liked to live in that waterside area, but those homes are over $2 million.
Yeah.
And, well, that's just not what our budget was. And so I was like, well, okay, well, these are nice. And we looked at another area that was like closer to the beach. I also had the problem with Lakewood Ranch was so far from the beach. And the whole reason for me wanting to move to Florida is like the beach is my happy place,
Mhm.
not that beach. I'd never been to Sarasota, but like Destin, Florida is my happy place. And I love being on the beach. I love waking up and looking out at the water and stuff like that. And Lakewood Ranch was going to be at minimum 45 minutes from a public beach.
Mhm.
And also we were super tired.
We were very tired.
So we were just driving in circles. We finally find this place to go and eat lunch at like 2 o'clock. And we have been driving since what, 8 o'clock in the morning?
And
Just,
this was in a whole different town.
oh yeah.
Yeah, we were riding around in circles for so long and had no idea where anything was. So we ended up in Osprey
Yeah.
for lunch. Went to, what was it, the Point?
Yes.
Not bad.
I think the views there were really cool. It was right on like a like a
Dock.
bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the breeze was nice and I was like, "Oh, I can see why people would enjoy this." It had locals there. They were hanging out, they were getting off their boat. But then I was eating pasta and a fly got in my pasta. And I was so tired, and I do this when we travel where it's, like, the smallest thing because everything's been building up, and it's been, like, so negative, and I'm so tired, and then the smallest thing will happen, like, someone will get my order wrong, or a bug gets in my food, and I just lost it, and I didn't eat anything else, and I just sat there, and I was just like, "This is not it." Like, clear signs. I was here for vibes. Vibes are not it. I don't want to live here.
Mhm.
And I was pretty done after that.
You were.
Yeah. So, I think we really needed sleep, but we went to dinner that night at the hotel because I was again done. I don't need to see local places. I need to eat food and preferably inside
Mm.
to where there's no bugs. Had a great meal, slept great because I was like, this is over. I don't have to think about this anymore.
Went to bed at what, 9 o'clock?
Yeah, it's great. It was great. And then so the next day we're like, all right, let's just be on vacation.
Now we're on vacation.
Now we're on vacation. We don't wanna live here, we're gonna live it up. So we went to the hotel breakfast.
Mm.
It was delicious.
Mighty nice. The
Yeah.
Weston. We were at the Weston.
Oh, yeah. And we walked around, downtown Sarasota. There
Checked
was
out the boat show.
Yeah, there was a boat show going on, and everyone was so friendly.
Mm.
And I hate big cities. Like, big cities to me are just not it. We've been to many of them. Sarasota, though, is probably the only big city that I could be like, "Yeah."
Mhm.
And I mean, it's not a huge city, I don't think, compared to some that we've been to, but, like,
Yeah.
it was good vibes. We had to walk around this massive roundabout and cross, like, 15 crosswalks to get to these boats, and everyone just, like, stopped and let us go even when it wasn't our turn,
Mhm.
and just, like, waved you on.
People were like too nice at some points where they would stop for us and then people were honking at them because they were being nice letting us go across.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, it was such good vibes. The weather was so pretty. I loved everything about the downtown area, which was so shocking. I did not expect to like it. But then we decided to take on Siesta Key Beach because apparently it is ranked number one in the US
Mhm.
and number four in the world. Now, my favorite beach ever is Destin. Not even 30A. So I know a lot of people go to 30A, not even 30A, just Destin. That's where I grew up going. It's my happy place. And I feel like Moana when I walk on the sand and the ocean is calling me. So happy. So we drive to Siesta Key Beach because if we were going to be locals, we would have to learn how to be okay with a public beach. And thinking about all Florida. So I was like, okay, I've ruled out Sarasota, but maybe I would want to live, somewhere else in Florida. But obviously, we can't live right on the beach because I don't wanna get wiped out by a hurricane.
Mhm.
So everywhere we go, we would have to, like, drive to a public beach. So we go to Siesta Key. Oh my goodness, it is a Sunday afternoon. I waited until the afternoon thinking that people would, like, be leaving. So this is what, 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we drive, and this one area, like, the main access point has, like, 900 and something parking spots. All of them were full. All of them.
Mm.
We even drove down the road a little bit, tried to see a different beach, came back and just had to, like, roam around in this parking lot, go in circles in this parking lot for, like, 20 minutes, and finally get a spot. And at this point, I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna like this. Clearly would not wanna do this." And in Destin, so I think expectations are something I struggle with. Actually, I know.
Mhm.
I struggle with expectations, and so I had even though I was trying not to have them, my expectation was Destin. Pretty rows of straight beach chairs, and you just walk down there, and everything's, like, nice and tidy, and no. No, this is not it. And so we bought a chair at Walmart. No, Target.
Target.
We found a Target. We bought a chair at Target and 2 tiny beach towels and a 1 bottle of sunscreen. And we start walking up And I realized when I step onto the sand that it is like a mile walk from the start of the sand to the water. Like, what in the world? Is it white sand and pretty? Yes.
It was very pretty.
It was so pretty, but I don't wanna walk that far.
It was quite the trek.
It was, my calves were burning, I was a huffing and a puffing, and I really didn't have much to carry.
The kids would not have enjoyed that for sure.
They wouldn't have made it. No, I didn't wanna make it. I was like, "Let's back out now." Had we not spent 20 minutes circling that parking lot, I woulda taken my butt back home. But I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna push through." I'd gotten the chair that goes down, like, at the water because my favorite thing is to have one of those little chairs. I want my nice beach chairs with my spot in Destin on a private beach, but I also like that little chair where I put my feetsies in the water, and so we bought one, a crappy one, for, like, 15 bucks, and I was putting my feetsies in the water. There was seaweed everywhere, lots of seaweed, which that happens in Destin too, so I was like, let's not just automatically hate this." But people everywhere,
Mhm.
like, getting hit by soccer balls, kids everywhere, like, the place was so packed. I had never seen something like that, and there was no order, and there was nowhere to put our stuff because there weren't any, like, lined up beach chairs. I did not like it,
Yeah. It seemed like adult spring break with kids.
which sounds terrible.
Yeah. There was so many people. You think of those 900 parking spots, each car had at least 7 people in it. I don't know the math on that, but there was thousands of people out there,
Yeah.
all on top of us.
Yeah, and so we literally had a Target bag. We didn't have a beach bag. We had a Target bag with our crap in it and nowhere to put it because in Destin, I feel like it's different because it is a private beach, so everyone has their little chairs and you put your stuff by your chair, and I feel fine to even walk off
Mm,
and, get in the water. We couldn't do that here. Like, our stuff was getting kicked over. It was not ideal,
no.
and I did not have my piece at the beach,
Mm,
and I really wanted that because I love the beach, and I thought that it was just like "Oh, I love the ocean," but I don't feel peace when I'm in Mexico at the beach either, so
yeah.
I only like Destin.
Mm.
So we stayed for like an hour and a half, and that was like me forcing myself to stay there.
That was me forcing you to stay
Yeah, it was.
there.
And I really wanted to when we spent all that time, like, driving around and the whole time it took to, like, walk down there, I was like, "I'm spending the next 4 hours here whether I like it or not." And I made it an hour and a half, and I was like, "I gotta get the hell out of here."
Well, we made it that long because we were hopeful that people would leave,
And
but somehow there was more people when it was an hour later.
they just kept coming.
They kept coming.
They kept coming, and I guess that's what happens when it's public. I didn't know. I hated it.
Mm.
Yeah, so I don't know why that one was ranked number 1. Apparently, those reviewer people haven't been to Destin.
Maybe the reviewer people got there when there was no people somehow. I think it would be glorious if no one was there.
I don't think so because I don't wanna walk that long.
I would walk that long.
Hell no, that was just such a long walk. Not when you don't have to. The water is so pretty in Destin, there is no need to walk that far. White sands looks the same but better.
You don't have the beach volleyball setups and stuff.
I don't give a crap about beach volleyball. I am not one to go to the beach to do activities. I don't I don't wanna do activities. I wanna sit down with my feet in the water. It's the only time where I sit down and I have peace is at the ocean, at the beach. It's the only time. I have ADHD. I don't sit still well unless I'm, like, fully engaged in work and then something's, like, keeping me occupied. I need to be doing something, working, whatever it is. But at the ocean, I can just sit there, and I could sit there all day. Not at this one. So, then we left. Shane made me go eat food, all gross. I was so mad.
That was quite the achievement for me though. Because you wanted food, so she wanted food, but didn't want to go somewhere and look like a slob, I guess, coming straight off the beach. We went anyway. She even tried to back out when we were in the parking lot.
Because it wasn't like a beachfront restaurant where everyone was in their beach cover-ups, like, it was a cutesy restaurant like fancy old people.
Yeah, it was great food too.
It was great food. I sucked it up, like, I think once I was able to kind of wash up in the bathroom, I was okay a little bit, but yeah.
Mm.
I don't I am the type of person who goes to the beach, gets all gross, goes shower, takes like 2 full hours to get ready for dinner. He didn't let me do that.
Nope. I am the type of traveler where I recognize I'm never going to see these people again. I don't care if they think I look like a jackass. I'm going to do me. You're
No.
not that way.
No, I'm not. I'm not. So we went and did that, and then we went back to the hotel, got showered, watched TV, and door dashed cheesecake and chocolate cake. And then it got no sleep, had to wake up the next morning at 5 a.m. and fly back.
Mm,
And that was yesterday. And so here we are, fully confident that I'm never moving to Sarasota. You agree?
I would agree.
Yeah. And I think we decided that North Texas is actually so much better for our lifestyle, like what we want. And I think I'm glad that I went because I got that clarity that I needed because I would have always been like, "Well, what if Sarasota is better than the?" Nope, not for us. I'm not saying it's a bad place, but for us and what we expected and like our family's needs, I think we're in the right place.
It was weird to get like vacation goggles for home as we returned from vacation. I got on the highway on the way home and I felt at peace.
Yeah.
It's like, this is great.
Yeah.
I like our house now.
Yeah, and I'm such a big, like, want to move, like, change all the time person, and that's, not super healthy for children or us in general, honestly, like, I really would prefer to move every 1 to 2 years, but now seeing this, like, maybe it's okay
Mm,
to stay where we're at for now,
mm,
and maybe we can eventually have a vacation house in Destin.
mm,
That would be ideal because that's the only place I wanna be, but I want a condo directly on the beach. I mean, I would like a beach house directly on the beach, but you know how much those cost? A
That's gonna
lot.
be hard to do with you quitting and pissing everyone off.
Mm, yeah, maybe y'all need to like me again. I don't know. Um, okay, so I think that wraps up Sarasota, right?
Yeah, I think we hit most of it.
So, moving on to oh, this was, like, kind of part of it was we talked about before we left that we kinda have to figure out where you want to live before you have children.
Mhm,
So if you are starting to think of having kids, also start to think about where you want to live
mhm,
and pick that spot and fully dive in there because once those kids are in school, like actual school, daycare is one thing. It's not easy to move when they're in daycare, but easier. Once they're in public school, dear Jesus, that is so hard because up and moving a fourth grade girl to a new school, nope, not
mm.
fun. Benji does not want to move to a new school. He's like fully invested and made friends in first grade that he wants to stick with. And now it's like, well, even if we want to move, even if this area doesn't fit our needs, you got to think about the kids. So,
I think that's the reason that you only hear about I got a job and we have to move is because no other reason works. The kids are going to be pissed if you don't have that reason and it's just, hey, I want to live here. They're going to be like, no.
yeah. Well, that's what Benji said.
That's what they have continued to tell us.
Yeah. Audrey is a little bit sad. She was wanting to move to Florida, and so she's a little bit sad. Benji doesn't realize that we went to Florida to think about moving there.
Mm.
Um, or he would have been mad.
Yeah, we didn't tell him because it would have went terribly wrong.
Yeah, so we got our vibes, we got our signs,
Mm.
we got our clarity. All right. Oh, this one you wanted to speak on. Someone said to me in the comment section, maybe a couple of people said that what was it? Oh, we needed educated guests on the podcast. So it can't just be us.
Yeah.
Just us in general is not enough. If we're going to speak on topics, we have to have like a doctor, a psychiatrist, or whatever on the podcast as guests. How do you feel about that, Shane?
We are very intelligent and I have TikTok just like you do. And I'm an expert on everything. If you haven't read my bio, I have like 17 different jobs and one of those was a psychiatrist. Okay.
All right. Oh, I have gotten back to right before we left, I did a little bit of influencing on my stories.
Mm,
So I tried on some swimsuits that I wasn't like planning on trying on, some Amazon ones, just because I needed to like try them on, figure out if I wanted to wear them on our trip or not. And I actually had like so much fun doing it because I didn't care.
yeah.
I put them on. I didn't edit it, any of it. No filters, no edits, no nothing. Just showed up on my story. If you like it, you like it. I don't care. And it was so nice to just be me.
Mhm.
And so having this as a hobby is so much fun. And people were loving it. They were like, oh my God, like clicking links like crazy because I was honest
Mm.
and I wasn't BSing just to sell you on something. I don't care if you buy it or not, you know? I'm just showing it to you. And so that was fun.
Yeah, it'll be wild to see if us being honest actually helps people relate to us.
Hmm.
Shocking, but maybe that happens.
I also tried this is one that I was super honest about, like, 2 years ago and ended up on a Reddit thread, many Reddit threads about, and that is Nudes, the company, it's Nuuds. It is an influencer's brand, and I did a review for this brand, like, 2 years ago just because people were talking about it. I bought the stuff on my own. They were sending PR to all these big influencers. I wasn't a big influencer at the time. Bought it, reviewed it, hated it. People got big mad over it. Well, actually, no, people loved my review. The person who got big mad was the influencer whose brand it was. She got big mad. And so it went crazy all over Reddit. There's still videos, my videos up there, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, did you see so and so?" The influencer, she made some stories afterwards about what I said. It was indirect. So it was definitely about what I said, but she didn't call me out by name. And so anyway, they reached out through ShopMy, which is kind of like LTK, like a month ago, and they were like, "Hey, we wanna send you PR." Okay, sure. It's interesting that you chose me, but you're clearly not weeding this out. This is like an automated thing.
Mm,
And so they wanted to send me something. I was like, "I'll try it again." Sure. And so they sent me I picked 2 of their, like, popular t-shirts. These t-shirts are very expensive t-shirts,
mm,
and I put that thing on the other day. It is no better than Hanes from Walmart, but, like, quadruple the price.
mhm.
And they just came out with swimwear.
Mm. Are you gonna try this one?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because I know it's gonna be garbage.
Mm.
I think too many people come out with swimwear brands that have no clue what they're doing,
Oh, okay.
and that influencer is this big. I do not trust her. I do not trust her to do swimwear. Maybe swimwear for people this big,
Yeah,
but swimwear for anyone with boobs and a butt and some curves, no.
it's valid.
Yeah, so in case you were wondering, don't buy nudes.
Still TA3.
Still DA3, but I did get a new, like, link code thing, so the code that I shared with you guys on that last episode,
Mm.
that's no longer valid.
Oh, okay. We'll update it.
Message me. Um, oh, this is one that happened before we left for Florida, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it because we didn't actually, like, talk about this. So the other day, and I can't really give much detail, but the other day, a boy came to our door. Our daughter is 11. An 11-year-old boy who lives in the neighborhood came to our door. Audrey is upstairs getting ready for bed, and he knocks on the door, and I'm like, okay, this is new. This is not a boy that I know. Like, I've seen him in the neighborhood. Like, I know who his parents are. And he goes, "Is this Audrey's house?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And he was like, "Well, I just wanted to talk to her." And I was like, "Okay. Well, she's, getting ready. I'll tell her that you came by." And so I went upstairs and I was talking to Audrey. I was like, "Audrey, why is there a boy at our front door?" And she was like, "Oh, I have no clue." And so anyway, it made me think of, like, the old school Southern parenting and the Southern dads who are like well, if a boy brings my daughter home, Imma be sitting on the front porch with the shotgun.
Yeah.
What type of dad do you think you're gonna be with our teenage daughter?
Um, Not the aggressive type, but like the embarrass them for showing up type.
Like, embarrass the boy?
Yeah, because I'm like the joking type.
You
So
are joking.
I'll either embarrass the boy or embarrass Odge for him showing up, either one, but somebody's not making it out of there just mad.
So you're not gonna be so you've never been the, like, overbearing, like, super my daughter can't wear makeup and can't wear this and can't talk to boy like, that's never been your parenting style? He's, like, so laid back, so didn't assume that would be your
Yeah.
style.
As a kid, I remember watching all the other kids that had very like overprotective families, and they're the ones that went wild the moment that they got some freedom. And I was raised the opposite way where I had a lot of freedom, and it's just like, I don't know, make good choices and good things happen is how my parents parented me, and I think that's how I intend on doing our kids as well. So let her make some choices, see how they work out, and learn from experience, but not gonna, you know, take a shotgun to the kids that come to the front door.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, I'm so glad you parented that way. I did not have that, like, dad at the front door type like, my parents are divorced, and so I never really knew, like, what that would look like. I have people that I know of whose
Mhm.
husbands are, like, very overprotective, and I was like, "Is that what you're supposed to do?" I don't know, I didn't have that. I didn't have any of that. I had my mom, and so I was like, "I don't really know." W
That gets in the way of like actually having a relationship, especially with Aj. If I'm very overbearing and won't let her do anything or talk to anyone, then she's gonna still do it, but not tell me about it.
Yeah,
So that would be my concern. Like, I'd rather have the relationship where she feels like she can talk to me about anything, and we're probably gonna joke about it, but there's just not that fear that she'll get in trouble for things.
yeah, yeah. Open and honest.
Mhm.
And I had some people be like, "Oh, well, if you don't gentle parent your kids, then you abuse them."
Mm.
Guys,
Dang right.
oh my god. No.
Because clearly that's what that means.
Yeah, people went straight from 0 to 100 for sure. That is so wild. I think that with gentle parenting, I know that there's a bunch of people who say they're doing gentle parenting and it's actually the permissive style, and so they are literally not parenting their children
Yep.
whatsoever. So there's in betweens, guys. There's so many different parenting styles. So no, our
Yeah.
kids clearly are being parented well, like with chill vibes. We may be strict on some things, but
Yeah.
they're
Just be involved. That's number
yeah.
one.
Talk to your kids. And, maybe don't try to rationalize with a two-year-old, though. That's where some of the gentle parenting that I've seen,
Mm.
I'm like, I understand emotional intelligence, but I don't think that two-year-old does yet.
Mm.
And so, like, getting on his level and trying to understand why he's throwing his blocks, I don't really know if that's gonna go well. But, okay, moving on, do you have your sponsor of the day?
Sponsor of the day, we're going with JSX because we are bougie when it comes to travel, and we will not be doing regular airlines anymore. JSX, holler at your boy because we have already hollered at you and have trips booked.
We do. Yeah, we have our trip next month. At the end of the month, we're going to Destin.
Mm.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. And we can fly JSX. And I love them. So, JSX, you get two free bags, big bags. They have to be 50 pounds or less, but sometimes they don't check. Um, and you can take a dog. I don't know, like, about our dog because she's really big. It has to be, like, a friendly, maybe kind of medium to small dog. You can take dog. All the seats are first class. It's just 1 seat on each side of the plane. It only has, like, typically less than 30 people on the plane with you. Super chill vibes. And you get to the airport. It's not really an airport, it's like an airplane hangar.
Mhm.
You get there, what do they say, like, 20 minutes before you board?
Yeah.
and you just give them your bags right there. There's no, like, hassle. They'll, like, wand you or whatever to make sure you're good, and then you just walk on your flight. Your bags are right there outside the plane when you walk off, and you just go to your car. Like, it's the easiest experience ever, and I think that so we're trying to be a little bit more frugal. I think that I'm just going to limit like, last year we traveled a whole bunch. Obviously, I was working. This year, if I'm not gonna be working, I'm gonna just limit our travel, like, maybe don't travel all the time everywhere, but limit them, save up for JSX flights because it truly does make a huge difference in just, like, the starting vibes.
Mhm.
I can't do the Dallas airport anymore.
Yeah, fully recommend just the hassle of baggage, not having to wait for it, not having to check anything, not having to walk around an entire airport because where they land is usually tiny. That alone saves an hour
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, because when our flight back wasn't good either. Our flight back from Dallas to Tampa
Mm,
or from Tampa to Dallas, it wasn't great because we had our carry-ons only, but the flight was full.
mm,
And because we weren't in first class, we were back there in the back. We weren't even in the back, but in the middle, and we had to go further back to be able to find a place to put our bags. And then when you try to get off the plane, that's a problem. And so we were all stuck. It was a complete cluster, and then we flew into a different gate and had to wait 15 minutes for a bus to find our car, and it's just such a hassle. I was
yep.
standing there going, "I'm never doing this again." Like, how many times have I had to do this and it hasn't clicked yet
Mhm.
that JSX is the only way to go?
All right, so the JSX question of the day, you are in a Disney movie. You have the choice to either be the main character's sidekick or the main villain in this Disney movie. What are you picking?
The villain.
The villain?
Yeah.
Because you have anger in your heart?
Villain tendencies.
Yeah.
Maybe, but to be the main character's sidekick,
Mm.
no.
Usually the sidekick has like the funny jokes and is just all vibes, though.
I'm not a funny jokes type of person.
You could be the chicken from Moana.
No, I think I'd rather be that, like, fire person on the island
Mm.
who then gets flowers, you know?
I don't know that that was the villain.
I don't know who the villain was.
Maybe the crab, the big crab that tried to
Well, I wouldn't wanna
get
be
him.
the big crab.
Mm.
I didn't like that part of the movie.
The big crab had good songs, though.
Mm,
Solid vibes with him.
yeah. I'm going villain. What would you choose?
Okay.
Clearly the sidekick.
I'd go sidekick because I'm full of witty jokes and humor. That's me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. You're laughing. Clearly it worked.
Okay. Alright, and that wraps episode 12.
12.
Goodness, we've been doing this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many people we ticked off with this one.
Only the people that live in Sarasota.
No, I really was not trying to be mean, guys. I'm so glad you love it. I just don't.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, on next episode, I have no clue what we're gonna talk about, but stay tuned. See you guys next week.